1.
All right. Hey there. Hey,
Hey,
Jared's
everybody.
followers. I'm Jack from Good Party, and I'm here interviewing Jared Budlong for an independent gubernatorial candidate for Alabama. Excited to ask Jared a couple questions about why he's running as an independent.
Yeah, happy to be here and appreciate you doing what you're doing.
Awesome. Well, let's jump right in. So, what made you decide to run for office?
So, in October of 2021, so last year, almost a year now, the state of Alabama, the legislature, and our current governor decided to allocate 20% of our COVID relief funds, so the American Rescue Plan. We allocated 20% of our funding, which was about $400 million, dollars, and set it aside for future prison structures to be built. And that's just a portion of how it's being spent now. It's actually over $1 billion for the project, but we allocated $400 million, and that I'm not sure if your platform's cool with it, but that pissed me off, and it got me to do a deep dive. You want me to come back on that, or are you good? Some people aren't cool with some way that things get phrased, but I
No,
have to
I'm
be
good with
real.
that.
Yeah, I have to be real with it because like it should make everybody mad. And whether or not you agree with the prison system, like we had people that needed that funding during the pandemic or during the height of the pandemic. It's not done, but like it was $400 million that didn't get spent there, and it ended up getting spent or getting allocated and is now being spent on new prisons. So that was the instigation, shall we say. And then from there, I was doing deep dives on like how is this possible, what made it okay, all of those pieces. And the more that I dig, the worse that it gets.
So you're running as an independent
Yeah.
write-in candidate.
Yep.
What made you arrive at that approach?
Yeah, so there's a short answer and there's a long answer. I'll do the short answer first. The short answer is that um, when I went to actually become a candidate and actually announce my candidacy, the deadline to apply for either party, specifically the Democratic Party, which is the one that people assume I would have run under, had about a week, maybe 2 weeks left to file under their party to run in the primary. And the filing fee for running in the Democratic Party of Alabama, at least, is 3% of the salary of the position that you're running for. So it would be 3% of the governor's annual salary, which is about $2,500 if we do some rough math. And to raise that in 2 weeks, being a candidate that has no prior experience wasn't an option. Uh, the longer answer that I'll keep short here is I'm not a Democrat, so I'm not going to run under the Democratic platform.
Excellent. And what's your vision for a brighter future for Alabamians?
Everything that I aspire to accomplish falls under the, let's call it the tagline for my campaign, which is the fact that I know that every human being has a right to live a life of dignity. And my end goal is to make sure the state is not restricting that ability. Um, you know, we can debate on whether or not or how far that should go, and that's fine. But my every decision I'm making is under that premise of, hey, if we do this, will it be reducing someone's ability to live their life with dignity, or enabling someone else to keep to actually make them feel like they're not dignified?
So, why are you the best candidate to deliver that future in your background and experience?
Yeah. A big part of it is that I don't have any money behind me. And that sounds counterproductive because running for politics, you need money. And I don't mean that we have no money. I mean, we don't have any corporate money. The incumbent has raised, the last time I looked was over $4 million. And half of that came from a single donor, a single out of state donor. And if that doesn't raise suspicions with the residents of the state, I'm not sure what else will. And everybody that knows that that happens gets very confused and concerned, unless they're just diehard fans. But so that I don't have any influence. So a question that keeps coming back up. Sorry, I don't have someone who has influence over me, corporations. But a big question that repeatedly comes up is, hey, what are you gonna? It came up during a live the other day. What are you gonna do about a corporation that wants to pressure you into doing something? And I'm like, they don't have any sway. I mean, they can claim that they're not going to bring their business here, but if their business doesn't have the same end goals that I know we need for our state, then they don't need to be here in the first place. So that, and my day job is a project manager, which is, I'm there to organize groups of people to accomplish a task for another client. And in this case, the client is the people of the state. And those groups are our departments.
Excellent. And final question for you. There's a lot of myths around independence and about having to basically choose a side in the two-party system.
Yeah.
What would you tell a voter that feels reluctant to vote for an independent candidate?
I can speak specifically for statewide elections at this point. In Alabama, in 2020, there were 1.4 million registered voters in our state who decided not to cast their ballot. And the pushback that we usually hear is what you're saying. Like, I don't want, I didn't want to split the vote, so I didn't vote, or something along those lines. Or they maybe voted for one party or the other for that reason. What I need people to know is in a lot of elections, especially statewide, like the governor, it is a strictly popular vote. There's a big point of confusion for a lot of people because of how much our country talks about the presidential election, and with it comes the electoral college and the electoral process. People assume that their vote only matters if the state would vote the same way, the state, based on presidential elections. And they're not accounting for or looking into the number of votes. And that's why I bring up the 1.4 million who didn't vote, because if you look at our state, which if you're looking at this from another state, our state allows straight party ballot voting, which means you check one box and say, I want the Republican candidates, and you don't have to do anything else. You just say, give me Republicans or give me Democrats. And then this year, the Libertarian Party says they're on the ballot. It looks like it, so you could say, give me Libertarians. You don't have to do anything else. You can not think and just say that many. And that group of people for the Republican side in 2020 was only 950,000. And the Democratic side was 590,000 or so, give or take. I'm rounding around because I don't want to try to memorize a ridiculous long number. But 1.4 million versus 950,000. I'm not worried about those odds as long as we can reach those people. And every one of those vote matters.
Thank you so much. Any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
No, just know that if you're in Alabama and you haven't voted previously or didn't think you were going to vote because of how unlikely it seems to make a difference, I will say this to follow up that last comment. There's been a lot of protesting in the past couple of years, and one of the things that we are starting to gear our messaging around is, if you do nothing else, protest the system and write my name down like you would on a protest sign. Make sure you spell it right, because that matters. But I'll take your protest vote. I'll take your sympathy vote, and I'll take your enthusiastic vote if you have it. But this state needs to change, and I'm here to do that, regardless of what the corporations that are involved want.
Thanks, Jared. And check out Jared on Good Party. Follow along on his campaign growth, and best of luck in the rest of your race.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Everybody else, sorry, I'm going to keep up with comments. This is a short interview. We're going to wrap it up. I'll check to make sure nobody said anything. And yeah, we're good. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good rest of the night, and we will talk to you